Brother, let's be real for a moment. Not every woman loves with her heart. Some love with the emptiness inside them. They love the feeling of being cared for, not the real person you are. You can give everything, and one day she'll still betray you without a trace of guilt. Not because you weren't good enough, but because she never intended to be loyal in the first place. And if you don't learn to recognize that early, you'll waste your youth chasing loyalty that never existed. This isn't criticism, it's a warning, because sometimes what destroys a man isn't betrayal itself, it's misplaced trust. Do you know what the worst part is? It's not when she betrays you, it's when you felt it for a long time but kept convincing yourself you were wrong. Because men, when they love, always want to believe that if they're good enough, patient enough, she'll change. But the truth is, some women don't need more love, they need more emotion. They don't love who you are, they love how it feels to be loved by you. And that's the first type you must be wary of, the emotionally empty woman. She doesn't love you, she loves the attention you give her. She lives off men's admiration, off compliments, off knowing someone is always waiting for her. When you no longer give her that feeling, she'll seek it elsewhere in another man, another conversation, another notification. She doesn't have to cheat to betray you. She just needs to let her heart wander somewhere else. You'll see her still by your side, but her mind is already gone. A woman like that doesn't betray out of desire, she betrays out of emptiness. She has no real emotional connection, so she feels no guilt in hurting others. She's only trying to fill the void inside her with attention from many men at once. And a man's biggest mistake is trying to prove he's good enough to fill that void. The more you love, the farther she drifts. The more you give, the colder she becomes. Because an empty soul, no matter how much love you pour into it, will never be full. If she doesn't choose you clearly and willingly, if her love doesn't bring peace but forces you to prove yourself every day, walk away. Don't try to be the savior of someone who doesn't want to be saved. Because in this game, you're not her lover, you're just a temporary remedy for an unhealed soul. There's another kind of betrayal colder, more sophisticated. She doesn't need to hide her phone or tell lies. She only needs to hide you from the world. She says she wants to keep things private, doesn't like showing off, and doesn't want others interfering in her relationship. Sounds reasonable, right? But if you look closely, privacy is just a mask for secrecy. She never mentions you in any story, never introduces you to her friends, never lets anyone know you're together. Her social media still looks like that of a happy single woman smiling photos, friendly comments from other men. You tell yourself it's fine, she just wants to keep things low-key. But in truth, when a woman is genuinely proud of her man, she wants the world to know. If she hides you, it means she's keeping the door open for someone else to walk in. She wants to have you, but also wants the thrill of being pursued. She wants love, but not commitment. And to her, you're nothing more than the safe option when her other games don't go as planned. Don't confuse privacy with secrecy. A woman who truly loves will protect the relationship from the world, but she'll never hide the world from the relationship. When you're an important part of her life, you'll be seen. But when you're only a temporary replacement, you'll be kept in the dark. If she's proud of you, she won't hesitate to say, "This is the man who makes me happy." But if she constantly avoids it, always says, "Don't post pictures of me," or "I don't want attention," then understand what she's afraid of isn't judgment, it's the truth. Because when people love for real, they're not afraid of being seen, they're only afraid of losing each other. When she hides you from the world, it means she never truly saw you as her man. And a relationship kept in the shadows will eventually be replaced by one that doesn't need to be hidden. There will come a time when you realize some relationships don't break because of open betrayal, but because of silent transactions, where affection is traded for material value. She doesn't care whether you're sincere, she only cares what you can offer. A gift, a fancy dinner, a vacation to her. Those aren't symbols of love, but measures of your worth. As long as you keep giving, she stays sweet. The moment you stop, she turns distant. When you're busy with work, she suddenly grows cold. That is the materialistic woman love with a price tag. She loves the benefits surrounding you, not who you are. She stays for the feeling of being pampered, gifted, and cared for. When that thrill fades, she'll find someone else to feed her craving for attention. Many men fall into this trap, believing that if they just invest enough, she'll stay. But how can you buy loyalty from someone who doesn't even know what love is? She doesn't leave because she's fallen out of love, she leaves because the benefits run out. To her, walking away isn't a loss, it's an upgrade, and you, no matter how much you gave, are just a stopover on her journey of indulgence. Remember this: if her love depends on your wallet, then when the wallet is empty, that love disappears too. True love doesn't need maintenance fees, it only needs genuine presence. A woman who truly loves will walk proudly beside you even when all you have are empty hands, because she sees your inner worth, not the number in your bank account. But if she only shows up when things are good, only smiles when there are gifts, only acts sweet when she's being spoiled, she never loved you. She only loved the feeling of being served. Don't try to buy respect, what you'll get back is mere compliance. Don't believe that sacrifice can make her change, because women like that don't need love. They crave worship. And if you keep allowing it, you won't just lose your money, you'll lose your self-respect. Then you'll meet another kind, more subtle, harder to detect, but just as cruel. She's still with you, still says she loves you, still sends goodnight texts, but on her phone, the dating apps are still active. Tinder, Bumble, or any other, she doesn't delete them, doesn't even hide them. When you ask, she just laughs and says, "I'm only browsing for fun." But you know what? No one opens a dating app just to kill time. They stay because they're not ready to close the door to new options. And when a woman hasn't closed that door, it means there's still room in her heart for someone else to walk in. That's the woman who always keeps the door open, the one who never stops searching. She doesn't betray through actions right away, she betrays through mindset, by always having a plan B. For her, every swipe, every new message is a shot of dopamine, a way to remind herself she's still desirable, still wanted. She needs that to feed her sense of worth, and you, the man beside her, are just one part of that endless game of validation. Many men overlook this because they think it's probably nothing, but in truth, it's the clearest sign that you were never the only one. When she's still swiping, still searching, still smiling at her screen, she's already left the relationship long ago, only her body remains. She doesn't need to end things to betray you, she only needs to keep you in a temporary state while she searches for something better. Understand, this betrayal doesn't begin when she's in another man's arms, it begins the moment she stops investing in you and starts investing in the possibility of someone else. If she's still swiping, she's still searching, and if she's still searching, you are never enough. A woman who's truly committed will erase every exit route because she doesn't need more options. But a woman who was never serious will always keep one open, so when you stop meeting her emotional or material expectations, she can leave without regret. So if you find yourself competing against an app, understand that you're playing a rigged game, one where you're giving your heart while she's setting conditions. Love doesn't need many choices, it only needs one right choice. And if she still can't clearly choose you, then you must be strong enough to choose yourself. There's another type of woman even more dangerous, not because she cheats with her body, but because she keeps a string tied to her past. She still talks to her ex, still sends messages, still occasionally reacts to his old posts. When you ask, she smiles and says, "We're just friends." Sounds harmless, but in reality, just friends is the most common lie in dishonest relationships. She's the woman still attached to the past, the one who hasn't truly let go. She keeps in touch with her ex not out of affection, but out of fear of emptiness. To her, he's a backup bridge, so if the present collapses, she still has somewhere to return. When a woman lets her past live inside her present, you can never be her future. Watch how she reacts when you bring it up. She'll act calm, maybe even accuse you of being jealous, saying, "Don't you trust me?" But deep down, you know something isn't right, because if the relationship was truly over, she wouldn't need to hold on to those connections. A woman who keeps her ex close is a woman who hasn't found her footing in the present. She wants safety from both sides, loved by you, but remembered by another, and this is what hurts men the most. You're there trying to build something real while she's still looking back. You invest in the future, she clings to memories. You love through presence, she loves through comparison, and over time, you realize you're competing with a ghost, someone who's no longer there, yet still occupies space in her heart. Don't underestimate this. A woman who hasn't let go of her past will never be honest in her present. She may not physically cheat, but she betrays you by letting her mind belong to someone else. And if you keep staying silent, eventually you'll just become the next ex on her list. If her past is still alive, your future has already died. So when you realize you're loving someone who's still looking backward, don't try to pull her back. Walk away, because a strong man doesn't fight to reclaim love. He fights to reclaim his peace. There's another kind of woman who fools many men into thinking she's just friendly, but in truth, she's the most dangerous player in the game of attention. She's the woman who only surrounds herself with men, the one who feeds on admiration. She says she doesn't get along with women, that having guy friends feels more comfortable. Sounds innocent, but in reality, she's living inside a carefully woven web of attention, where every man around her is a source of emotional energy. She doesn't need to love them, she only needs them to care, to text, to compliment, to flirt, and that's how she feels valuable. To her, every connection is a validation game: who texts first, who compliments more, who gets jealous when she disappears. Every glance, every message is a dose of ego nourishment, and you, even as her official boyfriend, are just one of many. She still needs the gaze of other men to keep feeling desirable. You'll notice she's always comfortable having plenty of male friends. She'll say things like, "They're just like my brothers, we're just getting coffee," or "I like talking to them because they understand me better." But if you get close to another woman, she immediately becomes upset, because in her mind, attention is private property. She wants to receive it, not share it. A woman like this isn't looking for love, she's looking for a stage. Every man around her is part of the audience, and you, if you're not careful, will become a supporting actor in her story. You'll constantly feel the need to prove yourself, to outshine the other guy friends just to keep her satisfied. But in truth, there's no finish line, because she never wants to choose, she only wants to be chosen. Remember, "He's just a friend" has been the opening line of countless betrayals. When a woman needs the attention of other men to feel alive, that's no longer friendliness, it's emotional dependency. And nothing destroys trust faster than loving someone whose heart never knows what enough feels like. Don't try to control her, control yourself. When you stop chasing, she'll have to look for a new audience, and that's when you finally escape her web of attention and reclaim your peace, your dignity, and the quiet power of a man who no longer needs validation to know his worth. Then comes another kind of woman, one who makes you think she's simply experienced, more mature, yet behind that calm surface lies a heart so calloused, it no longer knows what real attachment means. She's the woman who's had too many relationships, a heart that's lost its ability to connect. She often says, "I've loved a lot, so I understand men." But what she calls understanding is really her ability to separate emotion from her body. She's loved, she's lost, she's been betrayed, and she's betrayed others to the point where love, to her, is no longer connection but repetition. She knows how to say sweet things, how to make you feel special, how to make you believe you're different from the rest. But the truth is, she's just replaying the same script with a new face. A woman like this doesn't intentionally hurt you, but she's incapable of loving deeply anymore. Every time she enters a new relationship, a part of her emotions is already dead, and because she no longer knows what real love feels like, she replaces emotion with attraction. Sex, words, intimacy all become tools to test whether she still has value. You'll feel everything between you start off intense, almost consuming, but it quickly fades. She loses interest, gets bored easily, and leaves even faster. Not because you did something wrong, but because she doesn't know how to stay. When a woman has grown used to giving her body without giving her heart, she also grows used to leaving without feeling loss. And this is the trap most men fall into. You believe you can change her, that your love is strong enough to make her believe again. But someone who's lost the ability to connect can't be healed by a new love only by facing herself, and that's something you can't do for her. Remember this: what comes too easily never lasts. If intimacy arrives too quickly, too smoothly, too perfectly, be careful. What she's offering isn't love, it's a survival instinct. And by the time you start to truly love, she's already preparing to chase a new feeling somewhere else. Real love doesn't require experience, it requires presence. And a heart hardened by too many relationships can never hold on to something genuine. If she's easily let go of others before, one day she'll let go of you just as easily, the same way she once said, "I understand men." And finally, there's a type of woman who doesn't need to betray with her body, or hide behind a phone or dating app because her strongest weapon is emotion. She is the woman who plays the victim, the manipulator who uses tears. She always knows how to make you feel guilty, even when you've done nothing wrong. When you express concern, she cries. When you try to leave, she breaks down. When you set boundaries, she says, "Do you not love me anymore?" And in just a few seconds, she turns you from the one who's hurt into the one who must apologize. She doesn't control you with threats, she controls you with guilt. She knows exactly how to soften your heart. Her tears aren't a sign of pain, they're tools of control. Every time she cries, you take a step back. Every time she tells a sad story, you try harder. And by the time you're exhausted, she tells you that you've become cold. It's a cycle without escape where you keep blaming yourself while she keeps being forgiven. A woman like this doesn't need to cheat to betray you because she betrays you by pulling you away from yourself. She makes you doubt your logic, blur your boundaries, and ultimately lose your self-respect. You'll always find yourself having to save her, comfort her, prove your love over and over again. But real love doesn't need to be proven through blind sacrifice. The problem is, when you stay with a woman like this for too long, you start to forget how strong you were before you met her. She makes you believe that leaving is cruel, but in truth, staying is self-destruction. When tears become weapons, love turns into a battlefield, and on that battlefield, no one wins you, only lose your peace. Remember, you're not obligated to save someone who keeps choosing to play the victim. Love isn't a stage where someone gets to perform pain just to justify hurting others. If she truly loves you, she'll take responsibility for her emotions instead of making you carry them. So when you realize her tears are no longer true but manipulation, don't be afraid of silence. Walk away, because sometimes silence is the only way to end the emotional game. When tears become weapons, love is no longer love. It's a war you should never fight. You know something, brother. In the end, the problem was never about bad women or suffering men. The truth is, you forgot the most important thing, who you are, when you're not busy trying to please someone else. How many times have you forgiven even when you knew you were being lied to? How many times have you told yourself, maybe she'll change, while it's actually you who's been changing just to keep a relationship that was never worth keeping? It's not her that made you exhausted. It's you, choosing to stay where your heart no longer feels at peace. You can't heal someone who uses their pain to manipulate others. You can't teach someone to love truly when they only know how to love themselves. And you can't hold on to someone with love when what they crave is control. This is the moment you must wake up. This isn't about hating women, it's about protecting yourself. Because the wrong woman doesn't just take your time, she takes your trust, your pride, and your inner peace. But the beautiful truth is, all of that you can take back. A man's true strength isn't in holding on to someone, it's in having the courage to walk away when he knows he's no longer respected. Control your emotions, don't try to control hers, because once you master yourself, no one can manipulate you through love, through tears, or through silence. Sometimes walking away isn't a loss, it's liberation. It's the moment you reclaim your power, your self-respect, and the peace you've been missing for so long. When you understand that, you'll stop feeling bitter, you'll only feel light, because at last, you've chosen yourself. You can't control how someone loves you, but you can control how you allow them to treat you, and that is the true strength of an awakened man. From this moment on, don't let your heart be guided by the fear of losing someone, let it be guided by peace. You don't need to chase love to prove your worth. Real love won't make you anxious, won't keep you on guard, and won't force you to lose yourself just to stay. Stop chasing people who make you question your value. Stop trying to prove that you're good enough, patient enough, loving enough, because the one who truly deserves you will never make you do that. They'll see your worth while you're still being yourself. Remember, peace doesn't come from holding on. It comes from knowing when to let go. When you have the courage to release someone unworthy, you're not losing love, you're making space for the right kind of love to find you. From today on, protect your energy like a warrior guards his territory. Protect your mind from meaningless arguments. Protect your heart from people who only come around when they're lonely. And most importantly, protect your inner peace. Because that's something no one can give you except yourself. Don't let your past define who you are. Let your awareness define who you become. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to explain yourself. Just stay silent, grow, and walk away with a calm smile. When you start choosing peace over chaos, silence over arguments, and boundaries over begging, that's when you've truly changed. And when you change, your entire life changes with you. Don't fear being alone, because solitude in peace is far better than staying in a relationship that slowly makes you lose yourself. Let the right woman find you not when you're broken, but when you're grounded, strong, and at peace within your own silence. If what I've said touches something real inside you, then deep down, you already know the answer. Don't ignore the signs. Don't let loneliness drag you back to the person who once destroyed you. Don't let the fear of losing someone make you lose yourself again. Share this video with a brother who needs to wake up, because sometimes a single reminder today can save him from years lost in a toxic love. And if you're on the journey of reclaiming your strength, your confidence, and your peace, stay here. Because this isn't just a YouTube channel, it's a place for men to rise, to understand themselves, and to live in alignment with their true worth. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and don't miss the messages that make you stronger every day. Because here, we don't chase anyone, we stand firm. And as I always say, where men rise,